Lovely, lovely. It was lovely.
Lovely.
Yes. Well, I'll have to get up early in the morning. Good night.
Good night. I can only stay for a minute.
You're so right.
Don't you just love Sunday afternoon? Everything quiet. Nobody at home to disturb you.
Mag, I've always wanted to ask you something. Have you ever killed a man?
After her professional divorce from Warner Brothers, she was alone for the first time in 18 years. At the age of 42, and with a 2-year-old daughter, she divorced her third husband, William Grant Sherry. At this low point in her private and professional life, she was offered the part of Margot Channing, a theatrical first lady whose career is threatened by a scheming young girl. The film was all about Eve. The writer and director, Joseph Mankiewicz, and the scheming young girl was played by Anne Baxter.
She has told me that when that script arrived in the mail, she thought she was through. Did you know that? 41 years old. Marvelous.
It was the greatest break at that point in my career that ever happened. There's no question about it. I wouldn't have found that. As I told Mankiewicz, he resurrected me from the dead. There's no question about it.
Well, Willie Wilder said, be prepared. She can be rough, but she's good, but she can be tough.
Margot, darling.
Edmund Goulding called me and said, dear boy, you're out of your mind. This woman will annihilate you. She will grind you to a fine powder and blow you away. She will come on the set with a large yellow pad and sharp pencils, and she will write. And having written, she will then direct.
It's all over.
What's all over?
The audition. Eve read with Miss Caswell.
Eve? Oh, how enchanting. However did you two get the idea of Eve read with Miss Caswell?
Well, she's your understudy.
Eve, my understudy? I have no idea.
Oh, I thought you knew. She was put on over a week ago.
It seems inconceivable. I've never seen her backstage, but of course, with so many people loitering about, well. So Eve is not working for Max after all. Max, you sly puss.
But we were thrilled because it was literate in the extreme. I mean, when do you have a script that you can read as you can read a play? For ye gods, that was fantastic. And to have had so much fun. You're supposed to be at one another's throats and cut the atmosphere with a knife and that sort of thing. There was nothing like that. Not only that, but Betty fell madly in love with Gary. And on top of everything else, love was in bloom. It was marvelous.
In All About Eve, Merrill played Bill Sampson, theater director and lover to Bette Davis's Margot Channing. In July 1950, they eloped and married in Mexico.
In a way, that should have worked, except she said to me, that something peculiar happened, that he married Margot Channing, not Bette Davis, and she married Bill Sampson, not Gary Merrill.
They adopted 2 children. But after 10 years, almost to the day, Bette Davis's 4th marriage collapsed.
I loved being a wife. Never married anybody I didn't think I loved. Was brought up to marry. I was not brought up as we are today, that one may experiment, have affairs, and then see. In my world, you married, or nothing, just you married. Had I been brought up differently, I think I would have married much, much, much later, and maybe found the right person.
Funny business, a woman's career. The things you drop on your way up the ladder so you can move faster. You forget you'll need them again when you get back to being a woman. One career all females have in common, whether we like it or not. Being a woman. Sooner or later, we've got to work at it. matter how many other careers we'd had or wanted. And in the last analysis, nothing's any good unless you can look up just before dinner or turn around in bed, and there he is. Without that, you're not a woman.
When she says something to the effect that if you can't look across the dinner table or wake up in bed with a man, in other words, that's basically what he says, you're not a woman. And there is no question about it. That should be a part of a woman's life. And that I didn't in the long run have. And would have liked it. Believe me.
Jane, it's a big thing getting married. What? I said it's a big thing getting married to somebody.
Well, sure it is.
You got to prepare for it.
What do you mean prepare?
Well, I was just saying marriage isn't all roses, you know.
Well, who on earth ever said it was?
You got to look before you leap.
Ma, I've known Ralph 3 years, and
Well, I wasn't saying you didn't know him all right. I was just saying that marriage is a big thing like some girls don't know nowadays. And you got to make sacrifices. And when the children start coming, you got to put them first ahead of everybody.
I know, Ma.
Oh, and you can't go throwing money around. I hope you got more in your pa and me, but if you don't go throwing it around.
No, Ma.
And then one day you'll find out a lot of time's gone by. And you wake up knowing this is the way it's always going to be, just like this. Day after day, year after year, just the same. And that's why being married's such a big thing.
A woman who has to make a decision, actress who has to make a decision, shall I play the mother of a teenage girl or boy? That is a very important decision she has to make. Because if she decides to play that mother, that automatically rules out for her any romantic role. She can, from that moment on, not play the young romantic girl anymore. And that is a very important time. And that usually hits them around age 40.
At 44, Bette Davis embarked on what she would later call her 10 black years. Illness and injury, family problems, and the death of her mother, Ruth. All this happening at a time which was professionally unrewarding. Working far below her going salary on a high-risk, low-budget film, she took an unprecedented step and challenged the money men of Hollywood.
By then, the bankers were giving all the money to the studios. And the bankers had lists. And if you weren't on the list, they wouldn't give the studio any money, even if they cast you. And so this was an employment ad, written just like an employment ad. Divorcee, mother of 3, more affable than recommended.
30 years experience as an actress in motion pictures. Mobile still, and more affable than rumor would have it. Once steady employment in Hollywood.
Everybody begged me not to put it in the Hollywood Reporter, but I did, and it was quite a day in Hollywood that day.